Welcome to the Barndo Bros Dirt to Done podcast, your go-to show for everything Barndominiums from dirt to done. Join us, your hosts, Richard, Richy, and of course, Geoff.
It's good. That's good. That's good height.
All right.
All right, bring us.
All right, we are podcast Dirt to Done. This is our 4th episode. We're going for it. We got the real crew here, the full team. We got Geoff and Richard and Richy.
Yeah.
And we're the Barndo Bros, because bros before woes, bros before Barndo woes. And that's something we say around here. I don't know what you were thinking.
They were thinking something else.
I don't know when I said that, but we got bros, and we also have bros. We're spiritual guys too. We just spent this morning all talking about our brokenness.
Yeah.
And what our need of God, our need of light and truth, and we want to be people of love and people of service.
A wise builder that counts the costs.
Absolutely, and that's something you came in today with. You're like, I think I got our podcast topic today.
Yeah, I really was kind of fired up. Spent some time this morning. I was kind of explaining earlier, I've been on this fast. Fasting is not fun for me, although I was terribly overweight with baby weight because we just had our baby 2 months ago. And
I wouldn't say you were terribly overweight, but I probably contributed to that feeling of being terrible because I messed with him so much. It was just fun. And
everybody needs a good coworker that goes, God, are you fat today?
That's a good coach.
Jesus.
I took a photo of you yesterday.
Take the hamburger away. You did take a photo yesterday.
It's like, here's your before.
It was horrible.
But you've been fasting, and so stuff's been happening.
7 or 8 days, and we've been doing some lives on TikTok too. If you guys want to do it, we're kind of getting a little more personal on TikTok. I think it's cool, and my hope is we'll get more personal here too. But I was, it's bringing up a bunch of crap like in my heart, and I'm having bad dreams and all. And it all of a sudden will affect, because I didn't realize how much food has become a focus in all of our lives. Food pacifies all sorts of nonsense. Oh, I don't feel good. Let's go eat. Oh, it's good. And we don't drink anymore, so it's like we don't go to alcohol. So I just go get a big giant burger, and hopefully, our chicken fried steak or whatever.
Replace it with something else.
Yeah, and so
bag of chips.
I didn't realize that when you
bag of chips. There you go.
I think Richy said it earlier. It's really like voluntary suffering. So when you take it away, you're like, I'm going to get so close to God. What's happening is you're getting so away from yourself and things that have caused comfort in your past. And you know what? It's freaking really freeing. So all the bad dreams and things that come up, or even the self-worth or the stuff that's been, I worked really hard to get that mic right there.
Well, you got to talk right in it.
Right there. And Richy just ruined it. All the things that have caught you have negative feelings in the morning. You wake up feeling empty, hollow. I got in the car this morning and I was talking to God. I said, what do you, he says, play worship. I go, okay, I don't know this song. It doesn't matter. Let's do it anyway. And dude, I got fired up. And I realized there was something that was happening inside of me. I'm getting rid of old things and I'm able to move into new things. And we're going to apply spiritual truth to you guys building homes and doing fun stuff for your family. All of it matters if you count the cost. Now, here's the deal. To start something is incredibly difficult. Even for entrepreneurs like us that are so overtly love risk, even though we would tell you we don't, we fuel on it. We go find it. Let me go buy this old car that I know the motor doesn't work, but we're going to fix it. We're going to do something to it. You just lost money in your head and you're still okay with taking the risk. It's starting. And now that I've started this fast, now there's a determination in my heart because I've lost some weight saying, I'm going to keep going because I want to keep going. I don't want to stop because I started. Well, apply that to counting the cost of what's coming up in your life when you're building a home. And as crazy as it sounds, this is going to test you and your wife and your family and your children and the parents you're probably borrowing from. And everybody around your life is affected by you trying to build the house of your dreams or even just a house out of necessity because you have to now count cost. And everybody on your little ship that's about to take this little cruise with you, you need to tell them, hey, when we do this, we have to count the cost and understand it's going to cause a lot of sacrifice to build a home. It's going to take a lot of patience. It's going to work with contractors that you might not like the way they talk on a podcast. It's going to have to take you dealing with folks you go, man, I don't know if I trust that guy. It is going to take a little bit of walk of faith to get out there and get this house built. Do you believe that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and considering the cost, the personal cost, the time, the energy, the attention.
Oh, yeah, just money. Money is, but money taxes you in a way. It's almost like we need to fast from money. We were talking about prisoners earlier. Like the prisoner does not have to worry about if those lights stay on. That's the warden's job. The warden does a really good job, right? And if they don't have food, guess what? The warden's got to figure out how to get you food. The only thing you got to worry about as a prisoner is just making it day to day.
Staying alive.
Day to day. Trying to get down and watch a football game or something in the old, the whatever. Talking from direct prison experience here. If you're a prisoner, you're not worried about those things. Why can't? And then when prisoners worry about? They go, I want to get out and pay bills. God, if I could just pay a bill. If I could just be free and pay a bill. Then the man gets out and he's trapped in the same thing inside of his head where he's worried and concerned about the bill. And I would tell you guys, and anybody listening, if you just North America talk, first world country issues.
First world problem.
First world problems. Have you really ever missed a meal? Have you really, if you didn't pay a bill, was it because you were paying for something else? Have you really not seen God's goodness over your life in bills and building and relationships? And even if it's failed marriages or kids blow off and get, lip rings and mohawks, have you not seen his faithfulness even in all those things? It is really, really important to kind of keep that as the plumb line of building in your life, because if God is leading into a thing, it's really powerful when you see him complete it. The problem is, and I will say this from my own life, it is hard sometimes to, I'm a completer. I don't feel whole unless the job is done. And I don't really, any project, oh my God, my wife starts a project and it's like, hey, are you going to finish that table you started painting 3 weeks ago? I will go finish the table because I can't stand that it's not done. Cleaning, I have to clean everything till it's done. I want it done, dirt to done.
From dirt to done.
There you
right
go.
If you're just listening to us, there's a big sign behind it that says dirt to done. And I think the spiritual implication, and hopefully we're being a little bit vulnerable here, is that we did start off as dirt, and that God is still getting us through this progression of our life, which he's building inside of us a temple, and he's finally getting to the done of our life, which is like, well done. You did it. You made it through life. You still held my name. Oh, yeah, you had some crazy stuff happen in your life, but dude, that was awesome. We all watched this cloud of witnesses saying, man, look how we got through that. And I just hope that everybody out there is, even if you're in a place of depression, oppression, frustration, lack of determination, just understand that there's something else, because once we start, you're going to start seeing a determination in your heart to finish. And you're going to be like, I got to get this project done. We got to get this house built. We got a foundation laid. Great. What's the next step? Our heart with the Barndo Bros is really to be transparent, to get you guys fired up throughout the whole process. Mm-hmm. And that's why this portion of the podcast is called Counting the Cost. Have you counted the cost?
Have you counted the cost? You're talking dirt to done. It makes me think of the scripture, Philippians 1:6. He who began a good work in you is faithful to complete it. And it's this idea that, we're all in progress. We're all a work in progress. And, of course, those that have faith or in different aspects of spirituality recognize there's a higher purpose. There's a divine purpose on all of our lives. I believe everybody's made in God's image. Yeah. And when we allow ourselves to be leaning upon the divine presence, the Holy Spirit, God, the Word, however that manifests in your life, I have a lot of room for that. But it's this fact that the confidence is in he who began. Is faithful to complete it. It's like I'm cooperating with God. I'm cooperating with divine purpose in order for myself to come to the fullness of what I was made for.
Well, man, guys, if anybody's struggling with the idea of God, I get it. Just bear with this podcast for a little bit, because this is important. We've all been through crazy stuff. Incarcerations, divorces, and whatever. I mean,
that's what got us going this morning. It was this real talk. There's just a sense of a healthy brokenness. I think.
Isn't it amazing that God is a creator, but he really loves when we will come and co-create with him. And to build a house is something of structure, of value. Absolutely. To live in something, to bring your family under the covering of something. Does God smile at the builder? Because he goes, man, it's almost like we're created in his image, right? There's a work that he's beginning in us. If we don't create, do we die? Now, I can take that back away from construction world and say, as a creative person, if I'm not creating and I'm not producing some funny comical skit in marketing, or I don't have this, I'm dying inside, because I feel like my creativity as a creative, as a marketing creative, is not being fulfilled, right? Well, the same thing with a builder who can't get the job done, who can't get the supplies, who can't finish the house. He's dying inside because it's his God-given ability to finish and have God help him to move to get this thing done, that he's dying because he can't get the thing done. Business, take it to everything. Business owner, house builder, whatever. These things are built inside of us innately so that we would be successful. We would rely on God in that success.
Absolutely. And so the feeling you're having this morning, or the theme, consider the cost. It makes me also consider the cost before building a tower. I mean, he who began a good work and is faithful to complete it. It's the same with homes and all, and this is what we do for a living. It's interesting, Jesus was a carpenter, and he's a builder, and it feels like there's very much a thread of conversation here, because we will get to Barndominiums a bit here, but there's this very real reality that, first the natural, then the spirit. It's this building, this growing, and something you mentioned about creativity, and this is what I want to tap into and maybe cross over a bit into Barndo's, is when we're afraid, creativity shuts down.
That's right.
When fear is controlling the game, we are not on the cutting edge of creative, expanse. No. We are withdrawn. We're held back. We're fearful, and I think it's the same with homes. When some of us are making these big life decisions, most people that I know that are building Barndos are not building their first of 5 Barndos. They're building their final home, or it's the home that they really been wanting. It's the dream home that's going to host the family gatherings. It's going to have the barbecues, and it's a big step. Yeah. But I'll tell you, when fear is on the table, we're not on the creative forefront of our lives. And so for people in the Barndo world, that's part of what the Barndo Bros is you're catching on that, hey, we're people of faith, or we're people of the spirit. And, we want to bring some confidence to the game to help remove the fear piece when it comes to building, because there's a lot of unexpected things that happen and whatnot. And you can look at our site and you can kind of get a vibe for what we're doing. But the service piece is to help remove some of that fear. This should be a creative, joyful time. It should, yeah. And fear doesn't have to be part of that process.
No.
So would you agree that probably a good place for people to start is with plans?
I know that's the place now, and that's what our business has refined into, is that we've been going at this for a while now. And in fact, I had a call a couple weeks ago, nice man, but he wanted us to detail quote something that didn't exist. I'm going to build this here. It's kind of nebulous, maybe, I don't know, 400, he said 3,000, 4,000 square feet, maybe a silo over here, and show me pictures of the land, all this involvement without really knowing what he wants to build. I'm like, well, I can tell you ballpark, 175 to 300 a square foot. That's how much information you're giving me, and that's what I can give back to you, is that broad. But to have plans is I got to quit touching this mic. To have plans is the starting place. And if he had come in through the front door with some plans, I could say, we can get you a detailed estimate that shows you down, if you're local around here, down to the concrete. But plans are the first step. And so we are making that possible for people. And we can say Barndo Bros all we want on this podcast. We get flagged sometimes for saying the barndobros.com on TikTok.
Dang it, TikTok, quit shutting us down.
But the barndobros.com, the custom plan services, that's why they exist. So people that's the starting place. And we know with us, when you're doing custom plans, those costs, everything, consider the cost, all of that gets absorbed into your pricing that we're doing for you, whether that's part of your initial plans or it'll show up on your actual bid.
So part of your cost is plans. And I would say that what I'm kind of finding out is this is kind of the place of fusion where you actually get excited. It's, I don't know, it's, you go buy something online and it's $1,200 or whatever, and you kind of get it. You're like, something about creating it, being along for the process, looking how things are moved around, looking at your elevation, saying, no, I want this color door there. Some people really love being a part of the design. Some people just want cookie cutter, but I think our customers are different. They're very niche. They're very into a lifestyle. They really want this house to be probably a forever home, legacy piece. And what I see is the folks that, if anybody's out there listening to this, that I've worked with personally about doing designs, working with our draftsmen, man, it's been an amazing process. Because now the vision that you probably wrote down on Pinterest boards and is now, or whatever, is now coming alive. And all of a sudden you're taking that and you're going, this is what we're building. This is exciting. And you're investing in the thing that you have vision for. This is powerful.
Yes.
It's very different. Now, here's what I, kind of go back to what Richy was saying earlier is fear and building out of desperation. Man, it's like we had a beautiful customer yesterday, and I really wanted to help her out, and it didn't really work out. After last night, some contractor had taken her for $50,000, and He did some work. So I don't know exactly all he took her for, but he took her for some and then said, you're breach of contract if you're stopping. But he was doing some shady stuff, whatever. She's out $50,000. All she had was about $110,000 to do the whole deal. And so she came to me and said, hey, I've got $58,000. Can you do anything? Like, just give me anything. And so I came back with anything. Well, I don't really want anything. I actually need this. And I'm like, well, that's not what you said, I said, and she goes, well, I have to live in this home. I said, you're right. You're right. Save money. Don't do anything out of desperation, because now we're going to come build you this thing you're not even happy with, because now we're doing it out of fear. And I said, please allow God to come alongside you. Who knows will come with money and provision to maybe help do the sheetrock. And because basically we're just going to do a shell and erection at this point. She only had $60,000, in concrete work. And I was thinking, man, maybe that's your thing to stop. Don't do it out of desperation. Don't just buy a shell. Don't just go online and order something. Just stop.
Yeah.
But in fear and desperation, we don't count costs. We just spend. And then we're upset with the outcome because we really just did something in a desperate move.
We didn't count the cost.
We didn't count the cost. Or the way we counted it was wrong. We just blew on it because we had something else bad happen over here. I would say for anybody out there dealing with the woes, we call them Barndo woes.
Barndo bros before Barndo woes.
The Barndo woes are hard things learned from dealing with people that are probably not very relational. And I don't know if every contractor is intentionally trying to be shady or I know some of it's just cost of business and they're really just trying to make all the clocks work. But I will tell you that when you have somebody who can kind of contract on a project, who gets paid in draws, who's doing the work in a timely manner, these things do take time, and it's a patience thing. Maybe you had the $100,000, maybe you had the $300,000 cash, you're ready to go. Again, it still takes time to get to the finish. And if you don't allow the process, let's say you begin to rush or put pressure on that contractor, there's so many shady contractors. I'm going to be on this guy like, now he's working at a desk. Now he's working in a place where he's not being a good contractor. All of this has to do with how do we handle the situation? How did we master plan? We started with plans. That plan now gives us a roadmap of how we can get to the end game, which is our victory, which is a home. Somebody throws you the keys and said, hey, lawn's in, trees are planted, here's the keys, get in there and have a good time. AC set on 69 degrees, whatever, That's where we want to be, but how do we get to that end goal? And it takes a lot of patience and it takes a lot of time.
Correct. Right. Especially if you've never built a house.
Yeah.
So most people are used to just going, just like buying a car, right?
Yeah.
You go on, look at the lot. Hey, there's 20 cars. Oh, I want that one.
Yeah.
And you pay for it, finance it, pay cash, whatever. Boom, you put the key in, you go. Yeah. It's the same thing. You go in, you look on HAR, you find a house you want. Hey, that's what, you do your best to find, well, this house is great, but it doesn't have a pool. We want a pool. And then you find, well, this house, this is great. It has the pool, but, it's only a 3-bedroom. We need a 4. Yeah. You're constantly going back and forth, right? Trying to fit your needs and your wants and desires into something that's already out there. It's not custom built for you.
Yeah.
So that's one of the benefits of building, right? Kind of the cost of building your own legacy property, building your own legacy home. But again, the kind of the cost of it, the time is one of the most important things.
Yeah.
What it's going to take. And then is the fact of starting with a plan. People don't plan to fail, they fail to plan.
Yeah.
Okay? And so how many people come to us, right? And like, we want a Barndo, we want about 3,000 square feet, how much? Well, Jiminy crickets. Yeah. There's a lot that goes into that, right? Yeah. As far as knowing your finishes. Yeah. Well, what kind of floors do you want? What kind of cabinets do you want? What kind of bathrooms do you want? Yeah. How high do you want your ceilings? What kind of windows you want? What kind of doors do you want? Yeah. Right. All those things go into counting the cost. With so many people, they just think,
give me a number.
Just give me a number.
Yeah.
Exactly. And when you think, even I always like putting cars to it because it's simple. A car is a car, right? But you can have a car, a Ferrari is $500,000 and a Fiat is 50.
Right.
They're both cars, right? But there's value assessed because of the quality of the workmanship, the quality of the products used to build that car.
Yes.
How fast the car goes, right? Those things come into play. And the same thing with building a Barndominium. Right? You can build a Barndominium for cheap. That's a cheap Barndominium. You may want to live in it. You may not. right? You may have a few little pesky critter friends in there with you if you build it not right, or you can build a Barndo that's just like you see in these, these $1 million dream homes that are beautiful and amazing.
Yeah.
But again, I think to start, it's always coming into someone like us and working at the beginning stages of getting your plans done and your budget. The budget's very important. People would come in, they just ask them like, well, what, we have to ask them, what is your budget? Let's start there. And I think what people think is, well, whatever that is. Oh, okay. Well, the budget as high as possible, and we want to give you as little as possible. Yeah. When really it just helps us understand, right? We know what the costs are to build a standard Barndominium, right? Yeah, right. So when people don't have a budget, either that's not smart because you should have one, or they're just not wanting to tell us, which if you're looking to work with a builder, the builder's got to know your budget.
Yeah, it's almost as if they're keeping all their cards close to the chest. And if I tell you the number, you're going to spend it. Well, that's not true. Right. We need to know what the frame is you're working with. As you're talking there, Rich, too, I got on a kick on TikTok the other day where I was looking at bad Barndo jobs, basically. People, that's one thing I do like about social media. There's
that's
a cultural accountability. But people there was TikTok's bad Barndo build stuff. Like, can you believe this happened, this, that? And as I'm looking at these as people that are involved in building, and we're getting very familiar with the Barndominium situation that people are going through, is they're trying to get cheap Barndos.
Yeah.
It's cutting corners. And the thing is about our company and that we're committed to is we don't build cheap. We might build to your budget, but that doesn't mean that's not the same thing as cheap.
Maybe inexpensive.
Yes, inexpensive
budget.
So if we push back a little bit on clients, if somebody's coming out of fear or desperation or a lack of budget or whatever, we don't mean it to be offensively. We just want you to consider the cost of building, because it's like marriage. You're building a home, and it's hard. You know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into it, but there's also great reward.
Yes.
I have a beautiful friend, Andy Brink. We meet. We've done ministry for a long time, and he's the perfect customer. They sold their ranch. They had a builder building up in Tyler. They probably went and visited like 3 times, in the middle of the night when they're just to look at the framing. And then the guy said, man, the builder called. They finished my house. We moved in. It's great. I'm like, you are an amazing customer.
Yeah.
You didn't even care. He's like, oh, I just trusted that God was going to do what he did with and their house is beautiful and gorgeous, and I'm like, man, what a great customer. Some of our customers are really like that. They really do trust. We hope we build a brand that reciprocates trust and understanding. And we want to be that. We want to be excellent in what we do. We don't want to take work that we know that we can't do the best job we can, or that you can't afford. And I'll say this, I would rather you spend $5,000 on plans that you can go take and build in 10 years or next month or whatever. And all of a sudden you have to look at the weight of the cost, and you have to own that. Now, do we have financing resources to be able to get you to afford that cost? You don't have to buy it all out of pocket. I would suggest you don't. You need money. Stuff's coming up, Things change. Kids go to college, whatever. But the point is, if you don't understand the weight of that, and you go, well, I should be able to build this for $20,000. I'm like, sir, there ain't a house in the world that's $20,000 at this point, unless it's a 300 square foot bedroom. I just say, like, man, just know what you're doing, and please don't be duped by what we called on the last podcast bait and switch. And then, like you said, the Barndo woes. Don't you didn't want to spend the money, but now you're going to tell everybody they did a bad job. Yes. That's a little sad too.
Yeah.
You got what you paid for, and if we buy from Chinese manufacturers, we almost understand. Yeah, it was cheaper on Amazon, so I bought it. I didn't get an OEM part for my vehicle. I bought a cheap Chinese thing, and that pulley went out on me. But something in my mind goes, yeah, I bought a Chinese part. I paid half price.
Man, I feel the same way about music equipment. It's funny. I get around people that know cars, or they know, houses, and I'm still learning in midlife.
Yeah.
And I do know about music, and I know about music equipment. And it was always the case. I only want to spend $300, $400 on a guitar. Listen, you get what you pay for.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it matters. And the fact is that when I choose quality over those years, I would never replace those guitars. They last forever, or whatever the equipment is. Yeah. I'm saving money by spending money on the front end. And that's the way it goes, especially with homes. Who would want to cut corners on a home.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, a place of protection, safety, hopefully keeps the critters out, keeps the rain out.
Yeah.
But we're committed to quality around here, and
Yeah.
that's a big deal. We titled this episode "Consider the Cost," and I think before we're done here, we need to shout out a little bit about some ways of financing that happen. There's a thing we've learned called, you might know about this, one-time close, and that means you can take your land and everything, you can roll it all into one big package. And there's so many ways that word fits, but one of them is if you've already got land, using that land as a down payment or using that equity in the property in order to get the Barndo going. These are all things that we have available at thebarndobros.com. We've got connections for you, especially if you're in tech, actually anywhere right now. Now we've got a national bank that we're working with that is very Barndo familiar. And if you're outside of Texas, fortunately, you can get finance for your whole Barndo and have some space to even finish it yourself. In Texas, it's got to be contractors, which I think is a great thing.
Yeah.
And of course with us, we use certified subs if it's for concrete or whatever. Everybody's going to be certified and high end as far as that goes, as far as quality. Quality is a big deal. Consider the cost before building a Barndo.
Please.
Yes. Please.
Hey, we're really glad you guys joined us today. Thank you for this episode. It's a good, different episode, but a great topic, and it weaves in. And I know this is speaking to somebody out there. We look forward to it. Hey, go to thebarndobros.com, fill out the intake form. You'll end up talking to Geoff or I. You might even get Rich on the phone if the phones get kind of busy.
Yeah.
And so, but definitely reach out to us, and we'd love to talk to you and see how we can get you from dirt to done.
Amen. Thank you.
Awesome. Yay. Good episode.
My energy was lower, but I was